the chat. Remember, did I go live? Yeah, it should have been live. Let me make sure that that's the one. It's like if you missed the go live last time, I got to make sure. Oh my God, I'm gonna put it up. We'll start doing that, and we'll check to make sure everything's working. I believe all my microphones were on. It says we're live. Yes, we are live with what we're supposed to be seeing. We have one person waiting, and then now I have no people in there. Okay, there we go. I got it in there. That's looking pretty good. We got the new stand, so we are set for tomorrow there, CT. I got 2 really good stands. Plus, I've got these. It's really kind of cool. That comes with ring lights, so it adds a little bit onto that, and we're looking pretty good there. Let's see.
Nash joined.
What?
Yeah. He's in there somewhere.
Yeah.
Oh, you came up. All right.
Yeah.
We're going to try a little bit something different with the gallery. So when either one of you two are talking, it's going to flip over so that I will always be on YouTube the right way, and then they'll be able to see you. Okay. I shared to the groups, Nash. So while you share to the groups, and I'll try and let's put this over here. I'm going to try and face a little bit more today. All right. Get that one. Looking good. All right. Let's make sure the sound's working. That always helps, right? Try and face a little bit more. Yep. Today. There we go. We got the sound working. I will put this up. You're sharing to the groups, so I'll start while you share to the groups, Nash. I will.
What's the caption?
The glut it turned out to be just a pause. All right. Welcome to the Scotchy Bourbon Boys podcast. Please leave messages of where you're from and what you're sipping on. We monitor comments.
Mr. Greg Snyder, it's always great having you aboard as well.
And we get to see him tomorrow.
I can't wait. I feel like I haven't seen him in a year.
It's I think the last time we saw Greg was the Kentucky Bourbon Festival, right?
And it's as quick as that's coming around, so it's always great hanging out with him. John Ritt, good to see you, man.
Although I think me and Walker saw him after actually when we went down. It's like it all blends, but we went out to dinner with at Amore, but we're all going to be meeting at Amore, so that's going to be pretty cool. All right, so anyways, everybody, so the Scotchy Bourbon Boys is brought to you by Middle West Spirits. Middle West Spirits has the Michelob line of bourbons and whiskeys. They have these cask strengths they just released. What they're doing there is fantastic. They started out with their craft distillery and their service bar restaurant, which is fantastic. It's still open. They've just opened a new giant Jim Beam-esque distillery in Columbus, Ohio. So you got to check them out. They're in 48 states on the shelf, but these cask strengths that are there right now, when you walk into your liquor store, are fantastic. They've got a wheat whiskey cask strength. They've got a pumpernickel rye cask strength, and they've got a wheated bourbon cask strength. All fantastic, great whiskey. Highly suggest it. What they're doing there at Middle West is fantastic. I can't wait till they get through their next couple phases. There's going to be restaurants and shopping and the whole thing. It's just going to be amazing. Ryan.
One more plug for Ryan. Other than the whiskey, which is fantastic, the duck fat fries are amazing.
Yes, Ryan.
So if you go, get the duck fat fries. You heard it.
At the service
bar. To die for.
I mean, he's talking like a steak joint, a burger joint, and like a bar hamburger joint. I mean, it is like when a hamburger joint, a steak joint, and then another 3 different type restaurants all on the same campus. I mean, it's going to be fantastic. I can't wait, and we're so proud to have them as sponsors because making great whiskey is something that Ryan does, and we love it. And we've been following them through this whole thing, and we got to get down there again. All right, then there's Walter Zausch, who has been on tonight already, and we are going to see him on. I am going for sure going to see him on Saturday. He's going to meet up with us when we meet with Christy Atkinson and Mark Carter. But Whiskey Thief Distilling Company is a great way to start your bourbon trail experiences, whether you're in Louisville or you're in Frankfurt. The Frankfurt is where their distillery is. It is a barrel pick every day, all day, with just the price of admission. You get the tour, you get the 5-barrel tasting, and then if you like one of the barrels, you can fill your own barrels, 375s or 750s. It doesn't matter. Fantastic whiskey. And right now, the buzz about Whiskey Thief has been crazy. People put up posts all the time. What's your favorite place to visit in Kentucky? And like, I'd say 25 to 30% of people say Whiskey Thief. It's a fantastic experience. And then they just opened their tasting room in Louisville in the New Lou area. And it's same thing, 5-barrel barrel pick all day, every day. And remember, no matter which one you deliver when you're there, everything they do is just like the Scotchy Bourbon Boys, uncut and unfiltered. So
They
then
also have goats now. Did you see that? Hannah's been posting. They have little pygmy goats.
I saw it.
So I mean,
even
if you don't like bourbon, are you saying you don't like pygmy goats? So you got to go at least see the goats.
Yeah, and they're on Billy Goat Lane, right? Isn't that what Billy Goat Lane? Isn't that what it is? Well, that's their address. That's why. No, Billy Goat Alley Lane, something like that, and that's why the goats are there. And honestly, they could eventually go down as the goat, right? Anyways, all right. So that also brings us to the Spirit of French Lick. We're going to be visiting there. I'm going to be for sure visiting there Saturday morning, seeing Laureline. And these are going to be what our main podcast of the the Old Louisville Whiskey Company Bourbon Barrel Breakdown. We will be rating both these two, the Lillian Sinclair and the William Dalton that we picked, and we are going to give it the bourbon barrel breakdown rating and let you know what you need to do if you wanted to get some of this if you like it. But what they're doing at the Spirit of French Lick, all of Alan Bishop's whiskeys are still there. It's fantastic, right? He's still there. He's not there he's physically not there, but his spirit lives through his whiskey so if you're in French Lick, Indiana, you have to check it out. So I didn't catch that. Greg's laughing. Is he laughing at me or is he laughing at the glut? Has turned out
Walker
to be the
said
pause.
it's the nanny goat strut is what he was calling.
There you go. And then also remember Rosewood Bourbons and Ryes. Jason Giles doing a fantastic thing. He gets whiskey from Indiana and Kentucky. He is doing some distilling also, but we're going to have to wait for that. He drives it down into Texas and lets it age there in the Texas heat one season, and then he puts it out, and it's fantastic. Rosewood Bourbon and Rye, got to check that out. And then also we're going to be seeing Alan Bishop tomorrow morning at 11 o'clock. Look for a podcast and a live podcast at noon tomorrow from Old Homestead Distillery, Alan Bishop's new home. And he is also one of our sponsors personally with his One Piece at a Time Distilling Institute on YouTube. Fantastic information on distilling. If you're a home distiller or you even are a professional distiller at a distillery, he answers questions, and he is one of the most transparent, open people in the industry. His passion for distilling is amazing. Check out One Piece at a Time Distilling Institute. And then if you have Ghost, you have everything. That podcast, it's on Apple, Spotify, iHeart. You got to check it out because his podcasts with If You Have Ghosts, it just basically takes the spirit industry and mixes it with the spirit world. Fantastic podcast. So I got it covered. Are you guys you ready?
Well,
You almost
Louisville, you didn't.
well, we do that when we do the barrel bottle breakdown.
Just saying.
I've already mentioned it 3 times, the old Louisville Whiskey Company barrel bottle breakdown. In some ways, they're getting now. I don't know if have you talked to Amin? If he wants to keep doing it, we'll see. We're gonna see.
Talked to him today, but he was just getting off the plane and he was headed to Brad's place, but Brad was closed, so we were trying to figure out what he was going to do.
In Covington?
And I was trying to figure out how I was going to get out of work to just go down and meet him and hang out, but we didn't make that happen because he was in Cincinnati. So,
well, that's even better, because if you would have done that, that would have been less chance of you doing something tomorrow. And I'm counting on you, CT. You know I am.
Hey, there's bourbon. There's a good chance.
I know, and it's
always a chance with bourbon.
There's even a better chance if it's a Friday and there's bourbon. Fridays are
this will be the first time I've ever been to Kentucky on a Friday, so I'm kind of excited about it. since last week.
Oh my God! Is you almost done?
Last week was great. Amin was great. Evan, last week was really cool because of the Derby. So I went to Evan Williams and got to hang out there with Baker and Brian at Evan Williams. So we had a good time, and then it's just neat seeing the people. The people are in town for the Derby, so they're all dressed up, and it's pretty cool to watch that happen. And then it's always old Louisville's just like honestly, it's like you could go there every day.
Just like you could go to Whiskey Thief every day. I mean, I don't know now.
Yeah.
Now, Ann Dimmick, who we all know from OHLQ, from the Jobs and Family Services part of it, the private part, who knows so much about how stuff runs in Ohio, but has one of the most fantastic personalities, was asking where to go in Lexington, because she's going to be in Lexington. And I would say 80% of the people told her that she needs to go to Whiskey Thief. And I said, if Ann Dimmick's going to show up I'll introduce her to Walter. And if she shows up at Whiskey Thief and Hannah is there at the same time, I think it would be one of the most positive experiences that you could have on the planet, between Ann's positivity and personality and Hannah's personality. It would be just like they would be adding power to the sun. It's just, I would like to see if what it would be like together in a room, because both of them are such great people, such positive people, such when it comes to whiskey, so passionate about whiskey. It's just a fantastic experience at Whiskey Thief. But if Ann was there, I said, I'm taking that day off of work because I'm going to be there. I don't care if it's a Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, or a Saturday. I'm going to be there for that. Anyways, you almost done, Nash? Let me know when you're finished.
Yeah, I'm just about there.
Okay, so when you guys when you're done, I'm going to go over how we're going to try and do this tonight, because when it comes to the podcast, we gotta the way we're going to do it while we're doing it. We're going to kind of like go in order, and I'm going to talk less, and you guys have to talk more, so that with this, I'm going to try and make this gallery podcast. It's working better for YouTube by far, because I'm talking and I'm here, but your guys' faces are up on the screen as if I'm talking to you like I was on a news network. It's the full picture. It's not
blah blah blah.
Hey, Nash,
We're just testing it.
Did you hear that intro part about the "I'm going to talk less"?
Yeah, that's what you didn't hear me. Blah blah blah. I was just testing to see if it worked.
Now, CT with Bernie, I let Bernie talk a lot, and I did try and get you right. I was being, Nash was kind of like he said, sitting back, but were you happy with how much with your questions? I'm just.
Yeah,
Let's talk about that after the air.
Let's yeah.
I don't think you can take all our criticism.
I want. Why give me criticism?
Rain check. I'll give you that tomorrow.
You guys are so mean.
That's because we love you. You think how we'd be if we didn't love you?
Oh yeah.
Yeah. I can imagine.
All right, let's go.
All right, so
let's go.
We got all of sponsorship. We're ready to go. Everybody, it's going to be about a 30-second delay that you won't hear anything. And then you will hear. Now, tonight, I got it set. Let's just do a quick test. I got it set, so you should be able to hear this. Watch this. 1.
I heard that.
2.
Yeah.
I heard it.
3.
4.
So what I found out on the noise canceling, it doesn't know it's going to pick up the first time, but then I have to say 1 specifically, and then I got to hit it again because once it hears my voice, it doesn't know it's coming again. I put something in between. I worked on this for 15 minutes, so I figured it out. So we're going to be able to have some knocks tonight. So there you go.
And the talking goes on.
Oh, you guys. It hasn't started yet, Nash. Here we go. I'm going to start her up.
Drinking bourbon, sipping on scotch. We get a little wild, but it's sure fun to watch. We love what we do, we're drinking every brew. Man, it's awesome, but we're telling the truth. Yeah, we're the Scotchy Bourbon Boys, raising some hell, making some noise. Yeah, we're the Scotchy Bourbon Boys, we're here to have fun and hope. We're here to have fun.
Woo! Welcome back to another podcast of the Scotchy Bourbon Boys. We've got this podcast tonight. We're pretty much podcast strength tonight. We got CT here tonight. ACT.
What's up, everybody?
And we got Super Nash is in the house. So
the bar.
We're gonna cut
in the house.
You're in the house?
I'm in the bar, which is in the house.
I'm in the studio. There you go.
Yeah, there's no changing that.
But tonight's exciting.
Right.
Tonight's exciting. We're going to be talking a little bit. I'm going to ask each one of your opinions of this, but I really believe the bourbon glut is over. Everything that I had seen, I people can make comments, and we could monitor that in the comments, because if you see anything about that, what other people's opinion. But even Bernie Lubbers was on and talking about how this was the end of their fiscal year and how fantastic it was for Heaven Hill. It was a great year, and once again, like it is now, it's been a great year for us. It's been a great year. I mean, we've got some things that we're going to cover. Why I think that, there was articles last year about this time telling us about how it was slowing up and the glut is over and whatever. And then I would say probably about February of this year, it kind of stayed and plateaued. But in February, it started to come out, and we'll talk about that. But in the meantime, www.scotchybourbonboys.com for all things Scotchy Bourbon Boys. Make sure we got Glen Cairns t-shirts. Check it out. Check out the website, information about us, and everything you'd want to know about the Scotchy Bourbon Boys. And then we're on Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, and X. And then also on all the major podcast formats, Apple, iHeart, Spotify, just to name a few. But no matter how you listen to us or watch us, make sure you like, listen, subscribe, comment, and leave good feedback. And actually, that was probably one of the better ones I've ever done. I almost stuck the landing. I just had a little pause there, but getting a little bit better at that. So guys, we're here. We're going to be doing a whiskey, Old Louisville Whiskey Company barrel bottle breakdown of our barrel picks. Plus, I got a special smoke wagon that I've got as a barrel pick from the Steel Valley Bourbon Association up in Youngstown. Frank Carbon's been
sipping on some smoke wagon myself.
Good. And Frank Carbon. Frank Carbon, a good friend of the Scotchy Bourbon Boys. He's going to have a tasting, and he invited me up to do the tasting. It is Wednesday, May 21st, and Wednesday, May 21st will be the tasting. It's a dinner and a tasting up in Youngstown. I can get you the details if you're in that area about it. The tickets are $50, I believe, for it, but you're going to taste both of our barrel picks plus his barrel pick. It will, and then also there'll be hors d'oeuvres, and it'll be a really kind of cool event. So wanted to let you all know about that. And so let's get going on the who wants to go first on what they think and what they've noticed about this, what we've seen over the past years, and now what we're seeing now. I mean, what are you guys seeing?
First of all, I want to say that like all last year seemed like a slowdown, and what a lot of the distilleries we're talking about and all, which behind the scenes it seemed like they were all ramping up and still going forward, not even paying any attention. But I want to say that like last year, I think the only reason that there was a slowdown maybe in sales, if that was the case, which I don't know anything about that part of it from the distillery standpoint, was because it was an election year, and a lot of people were unsure about their finances and things like that, where it was going, what was happening, and what was going to be going on. So but now, since the first of the year, I have seen more releases of bourbon, and it being scooped up as quick as it can be, and a lot of the stuff is flying off the shelves again. So, was there a pause? Was there a bourbon glut like what the media was putting out there? I don't know, but in my opinion, I think it was just maybe a marketing standpoint or something like that. But it seems to me that things are ramping back up, and distilleries are going strong. Those that the bigger distilleries, in my opinion.
Yeah, I think that is there people who jumped on the bandwagon and got during COVID and were trying to find something that they enjoyed, and again, COVID kind of taught everybody, I shouldn't say taught, but brought everybody to a slower point.
Yeah.
we didn't go out and do as much. We slowed down and we enjoyed time with friends and family close by because everybody was cautious. So bourbon kind of fit that really well. So I think that people really did find things like bourbon, cigars, things that could bring them together in a different manner. And so, yeah, for sure, there's people that are not in that as much now. They're back to their daily life. There's people who work from home until just 6 months ago, and now they're back to work. So has it changed that? For sure. But it's like anything. I think when light is shed on something as big as the bourbon world to people who are not bourbon people, so to speak, it still brings a lot of new people into the industry. And that has been seen just recently. Lux Row just released Blood Oath Pact 11. And for some people, that was going to be kind of a controversial bottle because it had a tequila finish. But they probably had the biggest outpouring of people there for the release day that they've had. And so I don't think it's false. I don't think it's anything more than just that, hey, there's people that got into it and it shed light to a lot of people who are now into bourbon that maybe weren't, but maybe they're not collectors, connoisseurs like some people. It's I always say we're collectors and we enjoy the business, but we don't buy like one or two specific bottles to just drink every night. We like to see what everybody's doing.
Yeah, there's no doubt that it really wasn't when you started hearing about the glut. At first, you just weren't sure it was going to happen, and I agree with you. Society got back into doing more things, and you started moving at a faster pace again, and your evenings might have been filled with more stuff to do, so you weren't just sitting back on the back porch as much as you were, or that type of thing. But I will say that I definitely was getting a little bit of that based off of the podcast of how people watched. I just wanted to quick say we got Eric from he's actually from Australia watching us. He does some stuff on the Scotchy Bourbon Boys. Welcome. And then also Frank Carbon is watching. And Frank, I'll ask you real quick, when it comes to the dinner, if you could post in the comments any links, if there's tickets left, or if you've announced it or whatever, or in the details, if you could put that in the comments. Anybody on Facebook who does that, and then if you're on YouTube, I can take that through. But last year at Kentucky Bourbon Festival, you didn't feel it at the festival. I mean, people were there, and the excitement was still there. And I think that was the end of like kind of the pause where March and April was when you were reading the articles about this brand wasn't selling and they were going to find something different. And so a lot of, I think, of the non-distilling producers that didn't have the greatest marketing plan, they kind of fell off to the brands kind of fell off. It wasn't just anymore you could just make a brand and you put it out there and word of mouth would sell it. It had kind of paused up at that point, and that's when but they were trying to say, well, now they're making enough and there's too much of it, and this is going to happen and this is going to happen. And all of a sudden, I would say after the festival, you started to feel like it was changing a little bit, and then you hit the start of this year. And I mean, honestly, when I went to book the bus tour, CT, and what last year to book that bus tour, there's 6 of us guaranteed, and we only had to come up with 8 people. And we probably had another 4 or 5 people that came the year before, and I was having a hard time getting it to one bus full for 14. I wasn't sure, whatever. But when I booked this year, it was instantaneous. There was people ready to go, and people had told, the Wayne and Rebecca McBriar, and they have friends coming. My wife's friend had a bourbon group up in, up by Lake Erie, and they booked. I mean, it was like all of a sudden the thing was full up in like 3 days, something that isn't, and I could just tell it was changing. And then the response to Kentucky Bourbon Festival, if you remember last year, the VIPs always sell out, right, CT? I mean, they sell out in seconds,
Right.
but not the general admission. They go.
No, it usually goes into August before the general admission is gone.
Yeah, and go ahead.
No, but you think about like, and you're right. So for me, I think that secondary market in bourbon has had a huge role in the last 3 years. People are stocking up on Weller Reds, and they're waiting in line to get those EH Taylors, and then they're taking them and trade them. That market is what's really changed for me. I don't see people stocking up on that stuff and going and trading it as much now, because I think a lot of people have already got that. So they kind of like, well, I've had Weller 12, I've had Weller Red, I've had a full proof. Now they're looking for the more unique barrel picks. They're looking for other things. And so that has probably changed as much as anything, is you don't have just a bunch of people waiting for secondary stuff like that. Now, are they still waiting on Heaven Hill? Yes. Are they still waiting on certain specialty bottles? Yes. But I don't think they're waiting on those general bottles like they were 2 years ago, even a year ago.
Well, I think also, go ahead, Nash.
I just wanted to read a statement from a very prominent figure that's been in the industry since the 70s, and a very good friend of ours, Greg Snyder, and in his opinion, he doesn't believe the love, the interest, and passion for bourbon has diminished one bit. The ramp up of production has always been far above the sales forecast well into the future. 10 years ago, the volume of bourbon being produced far exceeded the future sales forecast. So many new distilleries and so many new products saturated the market. Bourbon is still very popular with many consumers, but the inventory aging in the warehouses exceeds the growing demand.
Well,
no, and you hit it on the head. It's for sure.
And that's a good thing. I mean, everybody, you want them to exceed the demand, and that's one thing that I would say. Also, you were saying, CT, that everybody had the Weller Reds and they had the Colonel Taylors, but there's more of it. Like when you go now to wait in line, instead of 3 bottles of something, there's a case and a half. There's 3, right? And instead of 6, there's 18. That everybody's kind of now starting to get, and the only thing that scares me about it is, are some of the people that are in it because they love the collecting and they want what they can't get, and as soon as, just like Traveler whiskey, a lot of people who are part of the groups and everything, when that came out and you could get it, they talk about how it's bad and it's horrible. But yet I like it, and it sells crazy. They don't realize how much, they think because they're not buying it, it's not selling. That's not the case. They're actually selling that to more of the general whiskey population, drinking population, the people who like to have a one-time that they just keep going with, that type of thing. They're not into all the different collecting and everything. And so there was a little bit of slow up I saw in maybe, the Jack Daniels or the Jim Beams on the shelf stuff. But, I could tell you Ancient Age is still not on the shelf. And that is a damn bottom shelf, not taste-wise, but from a price-wise, Ancient Age is a bottom shelf. It proves it when you go and it says, it's so weird to see Limit 1 on the floor. It's a bottom shelf bourbon. And
like in Ancient Age, I just don't think they have as much of it. It goes to other things. So yeah, I mean, for sure, we're not seeing everything just all of a sudden like readily available. I mean, when there's a special release like Maker's Mark, they're going to be special.
But think about when you walk into a liquor store now opposed to 2 years ago. Right now, the selection is probably tripled on what's on the shelf. What was a bourbon wall has turned into 2 bourbon walls at your liquor store, or if they just had half the wall and it's complete. So there's so much out there to choose from. And then, like, for instance, Penelope, you want Penelope, and you can go to the store, and even sometimes, when they release Rio, it sells good, but there'll be a Rio on the shelf. You know what I mean? There's certain things, so you could pretty much get all the smoke wagons still. When you walk into, now I'm not talking about just the special releases, and I think the distilleries have done a great thing with the special releases because, like you said, everybody has everything, except now the distilleries are coming up with what you might not have. Like, they come up with different excellent things, and all of a sudden you're like, where did that come from? I mean, Jim Beam does it spectacularly. Buffalo Trace, even I've been hearing things about Pursuit United coming out with, you know what I mean? And those are special.
I want to say that the distilleries, this is almost like playing poker. They're not going to throw all their cards on the table right away. They're holding them cards back until, the big jackpot. So, that's kind of how, they can't put everything out there at once, and it only builds interest and curiosity to the bourbon lover and the bourbon pursuer.
What's funny is you think about like 2-3 years ago, there was a brand that I heard all kinds of buzz about, and I've hardly heard anything about it lately. And we actually have a barrel pick of Knob Creek barrel pick. And man, 2-3 years ago, when everybody was looking for everything else, that was the buzz. Like, if you could find, man, buy a Knob Creek barrel pick because they're so good for the price. And even that is like quieted. You don't hear it as much, but still, for the price point, is a fantastic bottle. And I don't care who does the barrel pick; they're usually phenomenal.
Yeah, absolutely.
Well,
but it's just, that's where we're at. It's like, how many barrel picks do you need? For most average people, if you have 2 to 5 of those, are you going to buy any more? No, they're looking at brands that come out like Holiday. That's okay. We haven't seen them in this area, or Smoke Wagon, or they're looking for different things that they haven't tried before to see if there's something better out there, or, oh no, I need to go back to my favorite.
Well, and that goes to where the bourbon palate, people's palates, they're evolving each and every day, each and every time they take a sip of whiskey, when they're tasting that stuff, then all of a sudden they get to thinking, and they're hearing about this other stuff and other brands and other distilleries, well, my gosh, well, what does that taste like? I'm getting all these flavors from this, and I've got 4 or 5 bottles of Knob Creek. Well, now they want to step out and they want to try something new. And that's just the curiosity that I think is playing a part in that too, which is only further building the market for bourbon and whiskey.
So, not to answer your thoughts on Knob Creek, CT, Knob Creek, from what I can tell, is really picking up with the younger generation, because I really believe right now I've converted my son. What I got to remember. Oh, Knobs. We call him Knobs because he likes Knob Creek. I mean, that's where it came from, and they really, his friends are drinking it also, and that's just the 9 year. So I started him off with a barrel pick that was actually dumped or distilled. Let's see, it was dumped on his birthday. The dump date was his birthday, so I gave that to him for his 21st birthday, and he kind of sipped it a little bit. But the Knob Creek now is he just kind of goes to it. If I'm not sending him something up, or sample bottles, or sending up the barrel pick or whatever, that's what he's usually pulling out of the liquor store up there in Traverse City, Michigan. But also, the other thing you mentioned, Holiday. So I was talking to Jamie Jacobs, who he basically he goes around and he gets to meet master distillers, and he was at Justin's House of Bourbon the other night and had a picture of Christy and Mark Carter there. And then he showed me a card from Holiday, because Holiday was
Mark Carter.
his name was Mark Carter too. And I'm like, I kind of didn't realize that. And I'm like, since when did Mark Carter start doing stuff with Holiday? And he's like, well, the Mark Carters were laughing about how they were both at the Justin's House of Bourbon the other night, you know. And so it's just kind of like the industry. That was one of the kind of funny things that goes on. So it's kind of fun.
There's a lot of new, and Bernie touched on that the other night, you know, how there was only so many distilleries, so, you know, not that many years ago, and now there's 2,000 outside of the state of Kentucky. I mean, it's become very, very common to find a new brand. I mean, when I go to Kentucky, the occasional Friday I ever get to go,
yeah, right.
and I go to the liquor store, I'm always floored by, holy crap, here's another brand that I've never, ever heard of. And we're in it deep, and I've never heard of it. So I can only imagine as a consumer, when you go to the store and you see all these things, and it's like, what do you buy? And there is so much to buy that I think they just pick. Sometimes it's based on the bottle, the appearance. Sometimes it's based on social media, giving a recommendation and saying, oh, this one's really good, pick it up. But there is so much out there that I'm not sure that any of us know what, other than just, you got to try it and see if you like it.
Yeah. And I just want to touch on this and ask Tiny, do you remember way back almost 6 years ago when we started this, and we were talking about that very same thing? And that's basically why we started this, is picking stuff off the bottom shelf. How do you go in and pick a bottle and you know, and let's start tasting stuff and off the bottom shelf, and we worked our way up, and now we're working our way up to where we fix the top shelf, but oh my God, we're not even touching a smidgen of the brands that are out there.
Nash, do you remember what do you remember what bottle Tiny bought on the bus tour last year?
Yes.
What?
Do you remember that? Because we were all like, where the hell did you get that bottle?
You were talking about
like,
He told us about it's gonna be good. Wait till you try.
it was good.
He said, and I just said it based on the bottle. He bought the bottle because the topper was a unicorn.
It was a unicorn.
Hold on.
A unicorn bottle.
Hold on a sec. Oh, I didn't realize. Let's see.
He's got it there somewhere.
It's over here. I'll be there in a sec.
It's over there on your top shelf, right?
Oh,
That's a perfect example of, you go to the liquor store with your buddies and you're like, okay, there's nothing that's like super highly allocated, and you're like, oh, what do we get? Let's try something new. And you end up with that.
With that.
with
Look,
this.
There's not much left, too.
Oh, damn! It was actually good, but I mean,
I know, and you told us this would be on the bus, and we kept laughing. Until you poured us this out.
Don't
It
you
was $100.
don't you remember at the bonfire the night before? I had this out and I was showing Matt it, and I told him that it's going to be good and I'm going to sleep with it. That's this bottle. I mean, straight bourbon.
You probably did after what you paid for it. And then Rachel slept on the couch, didn't she?
Rachel told him that you buy that, you're sleeping with the damn bottle.
Yeah.
She let me do it, which was totally cool. But it's from, so listen, it's actually a 10-year finished in port wine cask, and it's from the World Whiskey Society. So what the hell's the World Whiskey Society? I didn't know, but they were out of, and one I like weeded, so it's a weeded bourbon, and then they are out of, and it won double gold at the World Spirits Competition, 91 points on Whiskey Advocate. I mean, so it's got the stickers on it, you know. I mean, honestly,
I just got to tell you that Greg says he don't believe in unicorns.
Well, he doesn't have to, but there's one. That's a unicorn. This is a unicorn bottle. Physically,
another bottle like that from Colorado with those same stickers, and it was not very good.
Oh, you didn't like the Colorado? I mean, you got honestly, Colorado whiskey takes it is different. It's not bourbon. Colorado bourbon is nothing like. I mean, that's why Steve what's his name from Bardstown Bourbon Company?
The water and the aging process in the rick houses out there it makes a totally unique tasting and all that. I don't know why, but I know it's scientific, which we could probably talk to a few people. One of them that's on here tonight, he could probably tell us a little bit more why it's so different. But it all of it does have a different
That particular bottle that always has those circle the hey, we won this award. I've not been a big fan of it.
This is actually from Georgia.
Yeah, I've got a couple of those bottles too, and they're still sitting up there. I've tasted them a few times, but I know what you're talking about there, CT.
So the last, okay, go ahead.
Why do you have your sunglasses on?
Yeah,
because I'm cool.
Because his future's so bright.
You're not cool. It's inside and it's dark. You're in a freaking basement.
Look at that. Look at that. That's what we're talking about. That's why I got my sunglasses on. I can't wait to go to see ACDC.
Oh, is that coming at the end of this month?
That's the 28th. Why are you asking? You're going. I just put
Did you get tickets yet?
Yes, I got the tickets on my phone right now.
Oh shit, I probably could have got those for free.
Oh, I hate you.
He was going to invite me up too and give me a free ticket.
Well, Nash, only if the tickets are better. And then I'll invite you.
There you go.
All you got to do is get one. You know, Greg Schneider will probably come up and go see ACDC with me if you guys are going to dump me.
He says he thinks he might begin a Universal Galaxy Whiskey Society. After seeing you put those shades on.
Oh, yeah. There you go. There you go.
I think that's a song, Walker. I'm pretty sure, yeah.
Yeah.
I wear my sunglasses at night.
There you go.
And in the studio.
So this ring light is pretty bright. I got double ring lights and a regular ring light, and it's kind of hurting my eyes. Anyways, so to finish up, the reason so I just when Randy came on the podcast, when he came on the podcast that night for the week before Kentucky Bourbon Festival, I felt that the amount of people that were listening and the amount of people that had told us that they were going and the amount of people we had to give information to get the tickets. And then I really had a feeling that it was like 10 or 15 people I would be dealing with, but I was talking to like over 100 people were asking me questions about the festival. So when those tickets went, I was trying to get tickets for whiskey, and I got the sense that it wasn't going to stop. All the people, and so all of a sudden I texted Randy, and I'm like, "What's happening with the general admission?" I go, "Is it what I thought? You know what I thought? Is it? How are they selling? Is it going to sell out?" And he goes, "I think it might sell out today," and at least a couple hundred made it to the next day. But they were in 3 days sold out of the weekend pass, and all they had out of their 7,500 total tickets was 200 single day passes for Sunday, and those sold out within probably another couple days. So what normally sells out completely in August sold out in 4 days. It's crazy. And that tells you that this is over, in my opinion.
People are still looking for good stuff, and they know that venue brings a lot of really good single barrel picks. That KBF does a great job. And I'll say this: the one thing I like about that, and everybody out there probably doesn't know this, but Heaven Hill isn't picking their barrel pick. Rabbit Hole is not picking their barrel pick. It's picked by KBF. So when they pick it and Stacy and Randy go in with their group of whoever that is, we've been fortunate to be on some of those picks. They're picking based on a different group of pallets that they're always bangers, man. They come out with some really, really good stuff. Last year we had some phenomenal picks, and I had to leave and didn't get the chance to buy some of them. But I'm looking forward to this year being able to do the same thing.
Yeah, we're going to anchor you down, and then we're going to not let Coop leave the house.
He's not allowed to play basketball.
No, he's not allowed to leave the house. We'll pay him money. just he could for the week he could just binge watch stuff. Pretend his knees broke.
Take off your sunglasses and read Greg's comment about ACDC.
What about it? He loves Thunderstruck.
Yeah, it's awesome, isn't it?
Yeah,
yeah.
I from everything that CT, everything I see is that their first concert was a little bit like whatever, but since then they've been just like off the charts. I mean, people are saying it's the best concert they've seen them do. And that's when they, and they're 70.
Still ACDC, it doesn't matter.
Yeah, and then to think that's the end of the tour, that might be the last time they tour. I mean, that's crazy. That's.
I mean, it's not like going and seeing Guns N' Roses and Axl Rose because he is. Ooh. He's struggling.
Well, and just like
I just saw them last year.
Oh, that poor guy just needs to say, "Okay, I'm just not there anymore."
Yeah. The only thing I liked about was the band. The band was picking up his slack.
Right. Turn the mic down. Turn the mic down.
Yeah, exactly.
All right, but I think we all agree that and like I said, it was just a pause. Everything was paused, like you said, CT, for the election year. People weren't sure what's going to happen, but now we all know what's happening. And people try and when you hear about the bourbon industry and tariffs, I kind of laugh, because if Scotch is going to be so much money, tariffs don't affect American-made products. And actually, it's better for American-made products because people will buy less foreign whiskey and buy more American whiskey. And right now, there's a lot of bourbon to be bought. And so it's the best thing possible for the bourbon industry would be the tariffs as far as America consumers.
You're absolutely right. And that is exactly why this bottle is sitting here. If you are buying Crown Peach, no, don't do it anymore. Starlight Peach, which is now available in Ohio, this is fantastic. It's $23 from Starlight, which is in Southern Indiana. We'll be there tomorrow for a podcast at 3:00.
Got
made
two of
from
them.
peaches from their farm. And why buy Canadian Crown Royal Peach, which is okay, but this stuff is so good, and it's 84 proof. So I think there's brands like that. We saw it with Starlight when Blackberry was big. Yeah. Crown Blackberry came out. Everybody wanted Crown Blackberry. It tastes like Robitussin. And people were like, oh, it's not as good as we thought. And they started drinking the Starlight Blackberry, and they're like, wow, that actually tastes like whiskey that's got a blackberry flavor. And that's kind of how this is. So you're right. Tariffs, I don't think are going to affect us as much. It may affect some of the import barrels that come in and out, whatever. But I think that overall we're pretty good. There's enough barrels of whiskey in the United States. We'll be good for a while.
Well, and hopefully it all clears up, because for the distilleries, it's almost like the same thing with COVID. It's almost like the tariffs would act like COVID, because when the distilleries couldn't ship during COVID, they couldn't do their international market. They had to look internally to the American market. And it's the same thing with that, but I don't see it being anything being long-term. I mean, already it's starting. I don't think it's going to be a problem with even the international market. I think, and if they work something out like they did with the UK, the UK has been tariffing bourbon forever. So if they worked out a deal that it can go over there without tariffs and compete against Scotch, we're going to see. We might see a Kentucky Bourbon Festival transfer and do a Kentucky Bourbon Festival in the UK. Who knows? So I think only good things for the market. I think it wasn't a glut, and it's not going to slow down. I think it's going to get going full steam ahead, and it seems like that's where we're at right now, and it's exciting because I could see it on the podcast and our growing numbers.
And like you said earlier, it's not a glut. I consider it really just a pause, like you said, and like what we put out on the podcast at the beginning.
All right.
Do this breakdown.
Yep, let's do that. That's exactly, you read my mind. So which one are we going to do first? And why don't you introduce it, CT? You introduce.
Well, we don't have the smoke wagon you have, so
No,
we'll start with my smoke wagon is called Smoked Pig from the Blind Pig in Bardstown. So we'll do that last.
Yep.
Let's start with the Dalton.
We got the Dalton.
So why don't you talk about it, Jeff? Because you know more about it than any of us. So
while you're talking about it, I'm going to run and grab my pad.
All right. So this William Dalton, we had done a barrel pick through. Hey, talk for a second, CT.
Okay.
There you go. Because now we watch you instead of the blank desk. But this particular Dalton we had done a Dalton the year before as we went there as a barrel pick, and it was a 5-year, and it was I knew when I went there with when we went to the Spirit of French Lick, and I went there with Alan Bishop, I knew I love weeded bourbon. I mean, and he had put out the Dalton, and he had done one where he dropped a French oak stave in it, and it became our bourbon of the year. I loved it. So I knew going into that we were probably going to pick the Dalton when we went into it. But while we were in there, I know there was a couple different Lee W. Sinclairs that were in there on that particular pick, and they were good. I mean, I'm not going to sit there and say they weren't great, but the Dalton that we picked that year at 5 years old or 5.5 years old was the most complex. It just had a flavor to it. They had butterscotch. It had whatever, and so the complexity really was intriguing. And I know people love weeded bourbon, and we did that as a pick. Now, when we went back here last year, we knew Alan Bishop was leaving. This actually was his last barrel pick that he was associated with before leaving the 2 bottles that were going to be barrel bottle breaking down. And this one was a 6-year. And you could go online and watch reel after reel of us thieving this barrel. We were drilled it, and one of the unique things about this barrel is it was on the bottom floor, and it was up against the wood part of their rick house, which is a barn type rick house, where all the first level barrels are up against the wood, but there's a crack also that allows a certain amount of moisture in right there where it becomes angled up and it goes to steel. So we got into a couple William Daltons, and this barrel was over there, and it was 6 years. And this was what I felt. The 5 year had a lot of the flavors, but this tasted more like it was on steroids. It wasn't as subtle and unique. So we got another one of them, and this particular bottle is 104.8 proof, 52.4 alcohol by volume, 6 years. It's almost 7 years. When we knew this was close to 7 years, and but they bottled it before it got there. So it's barrel number 963 from the Spirit of French Lick. This is William Dalton. It is corn It's corn, wheat, and malt. And it is, I believe, they do have the mash bill on here, don't they? Did you guys see it?
I don't think so.
Uh,
I don't think it says that it's like.
Well, I don't see it either.
okay.
But the other thing is these are pot still, correct, Jeff?
Oh yeah, this is Alan Bishop's.
So,
Yes.
we don't talk about that a lot, but people, watching, pot still definitely different than a column still. You're going to get more of the flavors from the pot. You're going to get some of the copper nuances, I guess is a good way to put it.
And you're going to get a lot more flavors from the grain.
Yes, the grain definitely stands forward, which I've heard people say, oh, it tastes too much like corn or whatever. And I'm like, okay, that's what it's supposed to taste like.
Well,
So,
Column still, it will strip some of those flavors out.
Yeah.
As it increases the proof of it. Whereas a pot still retains a lot of that.
Also, where this is a lot to do with the master distiller on a pot still. They know each pot still has got its own personality, as Alan's told us, but they know where to make the cuts. They know what, and then they know how much. You have complete control over the one batch. The hardest part about a pot still is consistency, because you're making batches where a column still just runs and runs and runs, and then they use the barrel as to get some of the process that the column still leaves in, some of the bitter flavors or whatever, and that's what the barrel does. It filters it out. But the necessity of the barrel from a pot still when you're aging it isn't as important as far as from getting some of the bad agents out. Now, I will tell you, when we go on, if you go with me, CT, or if I'm going on Saturday, I'm interested in some of the barrels now that are another 1.5 years old, and I'm going to try and see if I could taste them. But there was some Lee W. Sinclairs that were 8 years old. That was from the start of what Alan put in, and those barrels were starting to pick up a lot of the caramel flavor from the barrel and overtaking some of the, like you said, some of the grain flavor.
Yeah, and for sure with age, which is probably the thing that you don't see in pot stills as often, is a lot of age statements. There's not a bunch out there that's like 10 years old. It's just not as common.
Well, that's because a lot of the craft distillers haven't been around that long. You know what I mean? To run in the pots. I mean, you just look at French Lick; they're still going, but the person who got them up and running said he's gone, and I have to find out what's happening there. I'm going to find out what's happening there, and I'll let everybody know. They're one of our sponsors, and there's a lot of Alan Bishop whiskey there that we are definitely probably interested in acquiring. There's no doubt about it. So on this particular one, this has been open for a little bit, and Dalton, I have to admit, is one of my favorite wheated bourbons. So, you ready there, Super Nash?
I'm ready.
Okay. So what are you guys getting? So, all right, this is officially now the Old Louisville Whiskey Company's Barrel Bottle Breakdown. The Barrel Bottle Breakdown, oh my God, what would it be called? Rating system. Thank you. The Barrel Bottle Breakdown rating system consists of nose, body, taste, and finish. It is 4 points or 4 knocks with our special bung hammer knocker. Sometimes I hit the barrel, but I've actually figured out so you guys could hear it. So I'm going to be hitting the desk. 4 knocks for possible for the nose, 4 knocks possible for the body. And then because of our evolution of our rating system, it's 5 knocks for tastes and 5 knocks for finish for a total of 18. But if you want to give and you think one of the categories is exceptional, you can give it a butt up. So, all right. And we're going to rate it between the three of us. It's great to be doing this Old Louisville Whiskey Company barrel bottle breakdown with the three of us. This is kind of cool. I do a lot of them. I do a lot of them by myself. I do them with you guys, and it's good to have the whole group together, guys, tonight. So let's. What are y'all thinking about the nose? We'll kind of rotate through.
What better way to do it than with one of our barrel picks?
We've not done this is the first time that we've done a barrel pick, and
it's great that all three of us are doing it.
If anyone's interested, contact me, or you can contact CT or Nash.
I've got some too, so yeah.
Yep.
All right.
I've got some, but I'm not getting rid of any of mine, but I can hook you up with a bottle. I got people.
I took one of my bottles of this and shared it with the folks at Indian Creek here in Ohio, and I saw him last week, and Joe said, he goes, I'm still sipping on that bottle. He goes, that's really, really good. He said his boys, I think his son-in-laws came over and they were drinking it, and he told him, he said, oh, just one. He said he's very sparing with the amount he lets go, but he really likes it. And that's a person who does pot still. That's exactly what they do.
Well, tell him he doesn't have to be sparing. There's a lot more where it came from. Anyways, I love the nose on this. I don't know about you guys.
I'm getting caramel popcorn. My wife such a Werther's caramel popcorn, and I've been eating on it the last couple of weeks, and that nose is just wonderful.
I'll go with I can smell where the popcorn is, but I'm getting more. Oh, there was a burnt chocolate. I get the popcorn or the corn flavor, and then I'm getting a fruity note on it. I'm not, and it's in CT. It's almost gone. It's almost like a cherry. It normally.
I was going to say a dark cherry.
Yeah, and normally I pick up the apricot, but I'm not picking up any of that. Oh, there's a little apricot on the bottom. So in other words, the way that nosing works, there's a lot of whiskeys that it's hard to pull one flavor out of. But if you've noticed in this one right now, there's 3 or 4 smells that you're picking up. I could pick up a little bit, then I pick up the cherry, I pick up the pop, definitely the popcorn. And then there's the sweetness, and then maybe a little apricot. I mean, it's got a really complex nose. There's no doubt about it. Not complex, but a lot of flavors that present themselves.
There's the sweetness is very icing, like a sweet icing kind of smell to it. It's very.
This is one nose that I'm getting very little spice.
Oh, there's not
just a hint of spice there.
You're talking about ethanol? Very little ethanol?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Now mine's been sitting in the glass for a little while, so the ethanol's definitely probably left it. But
mine ethanol left the bottle a long time ago because my bottle's about 3/4 of the way down. But
I had to go switch bottles because I realized that I had our first barrel pick out here and then poured it up. And then so I had to go grab another bottle because I didn't have any left of the bottle that I'd opened up when I first got this, because I've done shared it with all my brothers and friends that have come over.
So the other thing is I just tasted it.
A little ethanol just off of this, but not very much. Now that it's aired out some.
Believe it or not, I just tasted this, and there's a butterscotch aspect to it, but I am getting peanut butter. Peanut, not peanut, peanut. That's for you, CT.
Oh my gosh.
I'm
After that sip, mid palate, that sweet tart cherry comes across.
yeah.
Sweetness up front, but right about mid palate, that tartness of a dark cherry.
CT. What is how long? What are you pouring from a bottle that's been open, or did you open it, crack it tonight?
That's almost like cherry pie.
It's one that I've had open. You know, for me, the corn is there, but it's sweeter. The corn is sweet. It's not like some where if it was a younger pot still with that much corn, and I think Walker said it here. Let me go back: 70 corn, 20 wheat, 10 malt.
Mhm.
With that much corn, sometimes it is very grainy tasting. This is not like corn grain. It's a sweet corn. It's a sweetness to it, and
That's why
I dig the nose. I dig the palate. I think
that's why I was saying it tasted like that caramel popcorn.
yeah. And I'll even say I don't think it's. I'm sorry, Jeff. Didn't mean to.
Cool.
I don't know that it's caramel popcorn. I think it's what's the popcorn that they sell at the fairs and stuff?
The kettle corn.
Kettle
corn. Yeah.
That's more of the sweetness.
Yeah, the sweetness.
Yeah, because it's not as much a caramel as it is that sweet kettle corn.
Yeah, I'll give you that.
Yeah, I agree. I agree now.
I
was thinking that for
This is a kettle corn bomb. We could have renamed. Can we rename it?
We can.
we didn't name it. All it is selected by the Scotchy Bourbon Boys. We got our logo on it, but we never named it. Oh, what did we call this one? Walker might know.
Walker will know.
I advertised it as something. I might have.
Walker just said he finally said it. I don't know what to say.
I don't think because they don't name them, I didn't name these two, but I could have.
So let's rate this thing.
All right, let's rate this so we could get to the other ones. Okay,
first CT on the nose.
I'll go first on the nose. Guys, I dig the nose. It's everything I want, and for a pot still to not be too grainy but have some sweetness to it is very rare for me. Because a lot of pot stills are 4 years.
Yeah, and this is 6, almost going on 7. It's like this is
a 4 for me all day long.
All right, CT gives it 4 knocks. 1, 2, 3, 4. You guys hear that?
No, we heard it when you were tapping it on the table.
All right, let's try it this way. 1, 2, 3, 4.
There you go. Yeah, we hear it when you do it like that.
All right, so we got 4 knocks. You're up, Nash.
I really love this nose on this. This is all the things that I look for to smell in the aromas of a whiskey or a bourbon. It's just each time I go and I have to go switch to nostrils and I'm getting different things out of each one. It's really, really good. And I'm going to have to go a 4 without even going further.
Hey, I wonder, honestly, what this would be like at 12 year. Imagine if it was like William Dalton 12 year, and that would be like a Pappy 12. I wonder what that would be pretty cool. Hopefully we're still around for that. All right.
Hopefully
there's some barrels that'll be around.
That's my intention of why I'm going there. I'm going to be going there. All right.
Just forget about some of them.
Yep. Super Nash gives it a 4 knocks. 1, 2, 3, 4. You guys hear that one that time? Did you hear it? You couldn't hear the knocks?
All right, I heard
I
you
heard
count.
like two out of 4.
I heard you count. It's okay.
Yeah,
God darn
I
it.
was with you every step of the way.
Yeah, I guess.
think you should put a microphone on the.
You should hit the microphone.
Yeah, that's a good idea. Just have the microphone and just smash the microphone. It'll work the first time. All right. So,
just tape it to the side of it.
all right. So I got the this is the microphone right there. All right. So that's
Lay it on the table beside it.
You know what? Okay, so it's right here. So let's see if I do it on mine because I'm talking. All right. I give it a 4 also. So let's go. 1, 2, 3, 4. Yes?
There were 1, 2, and 3. 4 was not there.
Yeah,
You
2 was
4.
You should put it up by your ear and then hit it.
Yeah.
But just right on my nose.
That too.
All right.
Do all of those things.
So CT. So Nash, you're first on the body.
The body.
The viscosity of this in the glass, and I'm rolling right now. Legs are.
Body on this is really good too. It's really thick in the glass. The sugars look at the legs. Takes a long time for them to develop.
Oh yeah, they come down long and
slow.
thick.
Yep. And the mouthfeel of it. I mean, it's just hitting all the sides, both sides of the tongue, top, roof.
Hey, so CT.
I'm going to have to give it a 4 on the body.
A 4. All right, CT. You got anything you can bang on wood to see if I can hear you?
Yeah. Ready?
Yep.
Hear that?
Nope.
and that was a pretty loud knock. So,
All right. He gave the body a 4.
Hey, can you hear this?
It's so like random. You hear like a little something.
It sounded like a pebble fell on the ocean floor.
Hey, I'm a scuba diver. I can hear that shit.
That's what I'm saying. That's about what it sounded like.
Yes, it
All
did.
right. So here we go. That leaves me next. Body wise.
And what'd you give it, CT?
I haven't gone yet.
Oh, okay.
So
that's why I don't have a score for you.
I have to agree with Nash on this because what it does in the glass, it gets the 1 point you might give it for the way the legs work and everything. But then when you do the Kentucky Chew, it really stings the cheeks. And that's always what I'm looking for. It goes to the roof of your mouth, underneath your tongue, in your palate. But when it stings your cheeks, you know that is a body with a 4. And at 104 proof, that's crazy to be. Usually you get that from like 120s. So I will do it also. So let's try it. 1, 2, 3, 4.
All 4 of those.
What you gonna give it?
So body for me, mouth. So the mouthfeel, I don't disagree with you guys that it gives spice, but I don't get quite the creaminess that I would want out of something that I'm going to give a 4. So I'm going with a 3.
CT gives it 3. 1, 2, 3. You hear all those?
None of them.
None of them.
1,
I heard that.
2, 3.
Heard 1 and 2.
3.
Just give up. We've been doing this for 6 months. It still ain't working.
I got some in. Maybe that's my way I talk and whatever. So we'll see.
I'm telling you, attach the mic to the side of the gavel.
Yeah, no, that won't work. Trust me.
Side of it.
I've actually hit the mic. Watch this.
No,
We promise
no,
it
you
will.
can't. That's not going to work.
You don't hear it when you hit the mic.
Here the first time. All
We
right.
promise.
All right,
Let's
go to
Let's go with
taste.
taste.
I'm
Tommy,
up.
you're up.
I'm up for taste.
Yep.
This is one we can give 5. I enjoy this taste, but I will say, from the standpoint of what I love this, and there's no doubt about it. But it's a 4 for me out of 5. So that's what I'm going to give it. All right, we're going to try it one more time, and then we're going to go quick. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
Said 4.
Oh.
Yeah.
I
See, now you messed me up. I read a 5, and I heard him say 4.
I know it's crazy. I probably thought I was getting that it was working, so I just kept going.
So what do you give it? A 4 or a 5?
A 4.
Okay.
All right.
See?
You don't have to hammer the table so we don't hear it. I'm on a 4 on this one. On the palate's really good. The taste is good, but it's a 4 for me.
All right. 1, 2, 3, 4. Could you hear those?
No. We
Nothing.
heard you. That's good enough.
So good. Just keep doing it. And it is what it is.
And I just want to give John Ritt's suggestion. Mute CT and Nash on Zoom and try bashing them to see if we all hear them. He said it's worth a try.
Mute CT and Nash and just he says bash. I'll just
bash us. Yeah. Cheers, John. I like that suggestion, but I don't agree with it. And no need going into detail because we've already talked about how the stuff is tasting, how it's feeling, all the flavors that I'm getting out of this. I'm going to have to give it a 4 myself.
I'm gonna try it. I'm trying again. 1, 2, 3, 4. Did you see
the first one? And I saw your glass shake the other 3 times.
Yeah, there you go. You can hear me counting, right?
All right, we are down to the finish on this,
And that's back to Super Nash. Or you CT, right? Yeah.
Yep.
Like the finish. Probably the only thing that I can say for it on the finish is that it just kind of stays pretty one note. The corn is the predominant flavor that kind of finishes for me, so I go with a 4. And not that that's a bad thing. It's still really good, but it just leaves that corn pop taste in your mouth.
1, 2, 3, 4.
Oh, that finish and what you just said, corn pop, sugar corn pop, cereal.
Yeah.
That's what I'm getting on the finish. On the taste up front, I'm getting a fresh baked tart cherry pie.
Yeah, there's cherry on the palate for sure.
Oh yeah, that is so prevalent to me in there, and just that fresh baked, pie crust. That's throughout the whole thing. The nose and the taste, and on the finish. Little bit at 104 proof, I would think it would have just a little bit more, maybe Kentucky hug, because I'm just not getting it down, down through the throat part. But I'm still going to have to give it a 4.
It's still pleasant.
Yeah, I mean it's a real good finish. I mean everything I'd want in a whiskey and bourbon, and all, and just an all around good drinking.
All right. 1, 2, 3, 4. This would have been 5 if it would have been longer. There's nothing unpleasant about this finish. The cherry, the corn pops, it's all kind of there. I love it. Normally, what I don't like about a finish is if it's oaky or it's leathery or there's a bitter aspect. No
None
bitter
of that.
aspect of this.
None of that.
It's not super sweet, but it's sweet enough. But you know, it's a medium. It's not one of those really, really long ones where you finish and you go upstairs and you're like getting ready, going to brush your teeth, and you don't even want to brush your teeth because the taste is still there. That's not. It doesn't quite have that. It might have that at 12 years. Who knows? But at this point, it doesn't. So I'm going to go with you guys. I concur. It's a 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. I just got some wood barrel chip out of my reconditioned barn oak in there.
You have a 15.67 for the total.
How'd you do that math that fast?
Because I had it all up.
You thought I was gonna get you like already did the math because I was gonna give it a 4.
All I was waiting for was on your answer, and I already had our scores computed in the computer.
All right, we got to do this. We got to do the Lillian real quick. We'll zip through this because we're getting long. So
Nash, you start out on the nose of Lillian, since we'll just keep going.
Sounds good. Hold on, here we go.
Let's see. Need a different glass here. I got mine for the smoke. All right. The Louisville Whiskey Company's doing we're really covering it tonight. That's for sure. We still have not done the payment. This is the old Louisville 17-year. We need to do that, CT.
We need to do that as a thorough bash. That fantastic bottle.
You mean a barrel bottle breakdown?
And I have too much old Louisville stuff. I need to stop.
Oh my God, the nose on this Lillian after it's spectacular. It's cherries.
Gotten really sweet.
Holy crap. No.
This bottle's been open for a little while.
Wow. Was not expecting that.
What the rye should introduce to this, and this is oat too, isn't it? Rye and oats.
So this one,
instead of wheat, you've got rye, or you've got a rye and oats replacing what was in the wheat.
Corn, rye, oats, and malted barley, right?
Yeah. Corn, rye, oats, and malted barley. This is the Lillian Sinclair. This is.
I'm getting the sweetness, the fruit, and then the baking spices are coming through on this.
I had a ton of cherry. I mean, it was like a cherry blossom. And then, so the Lillian Sinclair is was Alan Bishop's passion project. And while we was doing this, and it was becoming that we wanted to do a barrel pick, he dropped in a French oak stave. This is 3 7/8 years old. It's technically would have been a 4-year if we would have waited about another month. And honestly, or that makes it 11/12, correct? So 3 11/12 years old with a French oak barrel stave in it for the last 2.5 months. And I'm telling you, when we were tasting it, he dropped it in 2, and this was by far the better of the 2. And once again, if you check out our shorts, you can see Mr. Alan Bishop thieving this for us. This barrel it's fan. I really when people love this, there's a lot of people who absolutely love this bourbon. Now, it's not for everybody because it was, in my opinion, more like what everybody was drinking on the frontier. It just, it's a frontier bourbon. It is respecting the grain and, kind of exactly that type of thing that they were doing, the pot still. And it's kind of, I put it to Alan, this is what he was always trying to make, and he calls it a passion project. So this,
I am not getting the cherry, but I am getting like these tart Granny Smith apples.
see, I've had this open for a while. This is the one that's been sitting there. I mean, it's been open for at least 3 months.
Nutmeg and maybe some allspice.
All right. Yes, I love the nose. All right.
Oh my gosh. It's like fresh baked bread, like an apple pie.
104.9. 3 years. This is barrel number 2,428. That's how far along they were at that point. And then it is the mash bill. I'm sure Walker could probably come up with the mash bill for us on that one too.
Did say it's a 4 grain, which we already mentioned that. But
yeah, this is the opposite of Lee W. Sinclair. This Lee W. Sinclair, I'm going to grab it.
Wondering if this is like a 21 rye. Like there's a decent amount of rye in this, it seems like.
So
that's where I get all that spice from, the allspice and nutmeg.
You get on the nose, and like you said, there's an apple typeness to that is probably coming from that rye for sure.
Yeah, this is the Lee W. Sinclair is a 4-grain wheated bourbon. The second grain, it's corn, wheat, oats, and barley. And this is the Lillian Sinclair that he called, which I believe was some sort of associate his daughter. And it is corn, rye, oats, and barley. And this one, they're definitely extremely different. There's no doubt about it, right?
And it's funny we're doing this on the Old Louisville bottle breakdown because Amin talks about at Old Louisville all the time about how rye is the flavor grain. That is what gives a lot of bourbon their flavor. And people may not think they like rye, but then when you introduce a percentage of it to bourbon, it really does, or to corn, it adds a complexity that's totally different.
Well, the complexity that's happening with the rye and the corn right now is fresh baked bread. It tastes like
fresh baked pie.
I want to get some butter. That's what I want. I want to put some butter. It gets, because there's that close. And once again, this one, if there ever was anything, this stays true to the grains. And that's one of the things that, at the Spirit of French Lick, they say, respect the grain. And that's what Alan's always done. He's still going to do it at Old Homestead. But in this case, I really like, this is not like a dessert. It's not hugely sweet. There's some sweetness, but you pick up the grain on this one. And
notice the finish though is more of the hug. I get more of the hug on this one.
Yeah, but there's no bit. You're right. But there's no bitterness. And this one's 104.9, and the other one's 104.8. 0.8 tenths, and the wheated doesn't have the hug that the rye picks up.
I just want to talk a little bit about the rye grain. When you introduce a rye grain, that's where you usually get like the bacon spices, the floral notes, the fruit notes. A lot of that is coming from the rye grain. Then when you get the sweetness and the caramels and stuff like that, that's mostly coming from the barrel because you're getting the wood sugars out of the barrel, out of the wood.
But in this case,
wood sugars are coming out of it.
In this case, almost 4 years old, you're getting some of that that sweetness from that French oak stave that we dropped in for 2.5 months. That's
Yeah.
where some of that. This is sweeter than the other Lee Sinclair that you don't have those French oak staves in. It adds that. You can even almost taste the French oak stave, like the
Yeah.
toasted aspect.
Definitely adds sweetness.
Chocolate on the finish, you're getting that from the French oak stave. And even got to the finish yet. This nose, I love this nose, so I'm gonna have to give it a 4.
1, 2, 3, 4. Did I do it right that time?
Doesn't matter.
I wasn't even paying attention. I was paying attention to the glass.
You did exactly what you're supposed to do. Nod and agree. So does that leave me next? So I think the nose is the strong point of this. It's the one thing that's spectacular about it. It definitely, I could smell this all day. And when I say that, there's sometimes where you taste something and like I've taken a thing of breakfast blend of Starbucks and it's ground up in its package. And even though it doesn't taste anything like it smells, but if you put that smell, it just kind of stings something in your nose and it just does what it's supposed to do. This does it. So I am about to give this a 4. 1, 2, 3, 4 with a but up.
I mean, but ups the nose on this, which is well deserved. I agree.
So I'm going to make this quick. Agree with a lot of the things. The one thing I got on this when I first came to it after drinking the Dalton was there was a maple type note in that nose. And the deeper, like, that I sit with it in my nose, like not just smelling it and leaving, but staying there, I get that little bit of a maple note. I don't know why, but I like it. It's got a great nose, and I'm going to go with a 4 on that as well.
1, 2,
Yes.
3, 4.
All right.
All right. The body. I got to have a little bit more.
That's on you, Jeff.
I know. I said I have to have a little more for the body.
You're gonna do for the finish and taste. Pour a little more.
It's a little thinner than the other one. Than the Dalton. The legs are thinner. They're there, but they're thinner.
Get up on all 5.
It doesn't quite. Just shut up. I missed the glass. What can I say? It
No,
doesn't.
I did. I was looking at the body and I just spilled
It doesn't go to your cheeks. It's in your mouth. It's over. It's encompassing the flavor. And the second pour I had was just like the sweetness is spectacular, but I don't get in my cheeks, so I got to give the body a 3. 1, 2, 3. Super Nash.
The body to me is thin. It's I like the flavors, but that's not what this is. So for body, for me, the thinness gives me a 2.
2. 1, 2.
I'm agreeing with both of y'all. So I'm like in the middle.
So you're gonna give it 2.5.
Well, CT gave it a 3. You gave it a 4, right?
No.
No, I gave it a 2. He gave it a 3.
Yes.
Okay. I have to agree. Like I say, this is probably the weak point on it right now. Is that it's not hitting the sides. I get it up front and it goes across the middle of the tongue, but then it dissipates really quick.
Mm-hmm. As younger whiskey might.
Yeah. So yeah, I'll give it a 2.5.
You
Which you know you're not going to let me go.
no, you have to make a decision.
One more sip.
I think Alan's watching.
He's got all the stuff.
You're trying to influence.
Nash is gonna go. I'm gonna up with it.
I give it a 5 plus a badump up and a double badump up. I'm breaking all the rules.
It's just a little. It's good, but it's a little thin.
I gave it a, like I said, I gave it a 3. I agree.
I think it's more than 2, so I am going to have to give it a 3.
All right. Super Nash gives it a 3. 1, 2, 3.
Jeff, you might as well be hitting a sponge on that table.
I saw that. I was like, what can I do? I'm trying. You all can see it. At least you can.
We're gonna scratch it. We're gonna go to a bright light that flashes. 1, 2, 3. We're gonna do something different.
It's a barrel bottle breakdown. And these are knocks.
Maybe we can get the Noid to go across the screen, and he has like a hammer in his hand, and he does.
My son's gonna show me how to use a different program that has more control over the noise reduction.
We're on the palate and taste now.
And that's you.
We've got a possible 5. I'm going with a 4, guys.
4 on the taste for CT.
I like it. It's really good, but it's not quite a 5 for me.
1, 2, 3, 4. Anything?
2 of those.
At least they know what it should sound like.
I really love the taste of this. Got a lot of flavor going on. And you can pick up a lot of it. Still just a little bit thin, but I'm still going to have to give it a 4.
He gives it a 4.
4 for the flavor and taste, yeah.
1,
I love it.
2, 3, 4.
Can I make a suggestion? Maybe not be so geriatric about your hammer motions and just go ahead and hit it 4 times in a row, like you're putting together a house or something.
But
Yeah.
Your hammer is like 1.
He's trying to hit the.
what I figured out is if I talk in between, it's got a chance of doing it. The noise cancellation is canceled out if I talk in between.
Try 4 real quick. We heard the first one.
Yeah. Like I said, when it hits the first one, it cancels out all noises afterwards. But if I talk, how about this?
I think you should just give it up.
No, I will not give up.
Tap it and count.
Okay. Never!
You're never going to get.
Never! I will never get up. I will figure it out. Never!
I didn't say give up.
All right, Nash, what do you get? Is it me or Nash?
You.
You both gave it a 4?
Yep.
So I'm going to tell you why I like this barrel from the start when we picked this with Alan. I will tell you why I'm about to give you this score is because when I taste this, there's a sweetness. It tastes like whiskey. It tastes like grain, tastes like fresh bread, but it's got a little bit of sweet bread in it. And then I feel like it's the 1800s and I'm going across the plains and my whiskey's in the barrel that I distilled and I'm going to move to a new house and it's like 8 months later and then I let it sit and it's the first taste of whiskey I taste in my new house on the plains. So I am going to give this because there's no other whiskey that's ever made me feel that way, I am going to give it a 5 on the taste.
5.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
I just want to go on record as saying
You
they
didn't-
didn't have any houses on the plains. They were all cabins.
I just want to go on record on saying that was maybe the most. I can't even that description was one.
Oh
one
my
for
gosh.
record books.
Yeah. My new house on the plains.
Is it on to the finish? And is that me?
We are on the finish. Yes.
Nope.
It's
It's me.
yeah.
No, it's me. Because Jeff just finished the last one.
No, I started out with the nose, so I
Okay,
finished.
all right.
Because me, you, Tiny.
Okay. Yeah. You're right. Go ahead. What was it like when you drank it on the plains? When your horse and buggy broke
I was
down,
just-
you had nothing left.
I just wanted to tell you, we were circled up.
Yeah.
You know, all the little horses and the wagons, you know, fighting off the Indians.
Mm-hmm.
I decided to have a pour,
Yeah.
and all of a sudden, this tumbleweed come rolling by, and I thought to myself, grains and spirits in the glass.
Yeah. I'm sitting here painting a mental picture of it, and it's amazing.
And, you know, as I shot my last bullet and I knew I was going to have my last drink, I chose Lillian Sinclair.
Yeah.
I only had one pour left. So I had to quickly nose it because the Indians were closing in.
The last pour on the prairie.
Yes, the last pour. As the dust was in my eyes.
Oh.
Savored that last pour.
So what the? Shut up and tell us what you're gonna get. Oh.
I like to finish on this.
Oh boy.
I mean, it's you know, kind of like when I thought I was finished on the prairie when the Indians shot me with the arrow.
What are you rating it?
I'm gonna give it a 4.
Okay.
I like to finish on this. So
All right. 1, 2, 3, 4.
it hits all the aspects. Good mouthfeel comes across. I'm getting all the flavors. I'm still tasting the flavors, and that's why I'm giving it a 4, because the flavors on this are just lasting. You know, not a real big Kentucky hug, but I'm not looking for that. But I'm looking at how those flavors are just, they're just lasting, and that's why I like to finish on this.
He gives it a 4.
My last dying breath on the prairie.
I out of 5. It's actually longer than the other one, but I think I'm going to give. I love it for the taste, and I mean, I gave it a butt up on the smell, but what is that? Sounds like. Oh, my dad's calling me, but I can't answer. I could answer and have my dad come on. You think I should have my dad on the podcast? No. I'm going to give it a 3.
Oh, a 3.
Yeah.
Why'd you give it a 3?
Because
I'm curious.
Because I got the flavor. I'm on I'm on the plains, and I get it. But as it transfers, it fades off. It's not as long as I would like it, and it's I'm happy with the taste, But as the finish, I would like it to have something more going on. Like it doesn't quite transfer to that taste. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So that's
Okay.
where I'm at.
All right.
So I give it a 3.
So
1, 2, 3.
So for me, the Dalton finished with very little hug and had a good corn note going on all the way. Like we said, that corn pop note. This has more of the hug. It has a little more back end spice. The rye is definitely coming in, but I still am getting extra flavor from what I'm feeling like is a maple note that is coming in there that I like a lot. I think the finish on this is better than the Dalton. Where the Dalton, the nose was better to me. I think and everybody disagree. I like the nose on the Dalton better, but the finish on this to me was better. I really like the finish, but it's a 4.
1, 2, 3, 4.
So with that being said, Mr. Elon, what do you got over there?
Let me hit the calculator. 14, 15, and 16.
That's obviously a 15.
15.
14, 15, and 16. Pick the middle one. All right, that's it for the Scotchy Bourbon Boys and the Old Louisville Whiskey Company barrel bottle breakdown. But we all have some smoke wagons, right? You got the smoke wagon there. We all have it. Let's pour it, and we'll finish up with that real quick. I want to say the smoke.
What's the proof on yours, Jeff?
All right, so I gotta look at this, but this comes from Frank Carbon and the Steel Valley Bourbon Association in Youngstown, where they're going to have a tasting. If you go into what just happened? Wow. I splattered my screen. If you go into that, wait. Okay, that's because anyways, if you
I got less than 10%, so we gotta hurry.
Okay, if you go into the comments, the tasting that is Wednesday, May 21st, it's a tasting and a dinner or heavy hors d'oeuvres, and up in Youngstown, and you're in that area, check it out. The tickets are available for the tasting. This one is a 7-year. It's 59.11, so 158.2, not 118.22 proof. So
Okay, so mine is a 7-year as well, but a 56.79 ABV. So
I'm going to be tasting this in the Steel Valley Bourbon Association Glen. I got to taste this, and this bottle's here just specifically for us to promote the barrel pick. This will be available at the tasting, and you'll also be able to taste the Sinclair and the Dalton. So I'm not always there's a lot of smoke wagons for me that don't do it for me, okay? But this particular barrel that they picked, cherry on the nose.
So mine's cherry, but it is also mini marshmallows out of Lucky Charms.
Mine is a 7-year, and it's 113.16 proof.
Wow, it's so different going from all these pot stills to this.
Yeah.
It's like
This gives
159.C and bottled in September 22.
This is one of my favorite smoke wagons I've ever had. I've had a bunch of different smoke wagons, Christmas ones. I've had the, what was the one, what was it called?
well, uncut, unfiltered.
But it was the other one.
Uncut the Younger.
Yeah, Uncut the Younger. I've had Uncut Unfiltered. I have had.
Just remember, when you're drinking these 7-year plus bottles, like these barrel picks, this is MGP. This is what Amin talks about being the wheelhouse of that MGP product, 7-year plus is where they really start picking up the really good notes.
But you
And
got,
that stuff,
but you got to
You
remember,
gotta
he's
realize
bringing
this
this.
to Nevada.
Yeah, he
Right.
brings it and gets it sped up in that Nevada heat, that Las Vegas heat. I mean, it
But
says
he
it right there:
doesn't
Nevada
barrel for
HBC
very long.
Distilling Company, Las Vegas.
it's not sped up in the heat. He puts it in the back of that damn Porsche that he's got, that gold colored Porsche, and he's running around the damn desert with it.
So I mean, you guys got to come. I mean, anybody who can come taste this at the dinner and meet us, or me, mainly me. Unless CT, you've got on that Wednesday, you want to come up to Youngstown, you're invited to come up. I asked him, so, but I know
As far
that
as Youngstown for me,
Youngstown is on the northeast side of, you're going all the way, you go up to Cleveland and then over. You know, it's well, what you do is you would take 71 up all the way up, and then you hit 76, and then you take that another hour over. So how far am I from you? 2.5? Am I
2.5 hours.
No, yeah. So
I'm not coming to Youngstown.
I know. It's a little bit even longer. It's way over towards Pittsburgh. It's like an hour to Pittsburgh.
Yeah, I was just in Pittsburgh a couple weeks ago, and that's a haul.
Yeah, the one that you'd want to do is if we went to Liberty Pole. That's you don't have to go. You don't have to come up north. You just go across.
Yeah, but definitely, I encourage people in that area go, because I'm sure that's a great bottle, just like the one I'm drinking. They're all going to be solid, so definitely go.
Absolutely. I'll tell you what, I'm getting banana taffy. Oh my gosh, this is delicious.
Banana taffy.
I always find, especially with MGP brands that are being blended by other people, I'll give you that, Nash. I actually get, when you say that, that cherry, if you take it out and you kind of split it up in there is a little aspect of that. But I'll say on those MGP brands that we do, the longer they sit with, like, in the bottle, where it's like 3/4 of a bottle or whatever, and they really pick up some really nice flavor. That's one thing, and it's not MGP. It's Ross and Squib.
This is less than half a bottle, and it's.
I like uncut unfiltered.
I'm getting a little tartness of some kind of fruit. I don't think it's cherry.
I know this isn't good for collecting.
Banana
kiwi.
I know this isn't good for collecting, but I'm almost to the point where no matter what I buy when I get home, I'm just, even if I'm not going to drink it, I'm going to open it, because what it does in the bottle usually is so, unless you're dealing with something that straight from the bottle is just like a night, it's got a bump and it's 19 out of 18 and it's just spectacular. Most of the bourbons that are just like really good bourbons, if you open them up, they become great bourbons.
You get a little better. I agree.
Wow.
Well, I gotta go, guys, because my phone's about to die. So
all right, yeah, well, let's just end this real quick. All right, everybody, www. Thanks for joining us for one. www.Scotchy Bourbon. I gotta go because I gotta load this and get to bed. I gotta get up tomorrow morning at 3:45 and head out to Whiskey Thief.
Parents, all that. Go to ScotchyBourbonBoys.com.
www.ScotchyBourbonBoys.com.
I know it's www.
There it is. Yes.
https://
And then, and then we're on Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, and X. Make sure that, and also Apple, iHeart, and Spotify, as far as on your listening podcast, people.
Siri and Alexa to play us, and they will play us.
Yes, definitely. But no matter how you watch or listen, make sure that you like, listen, comment, and subscribe. And then make sure you leave us some good feedback, because that's important.
Absolutely.
remember, everybody, good bourbon.
Also, join our Facebook group.
Yep.
Yeah, for sure. It's getting big. It's getting big. We're doing, 15 to 20 people every single week, even sometimes 30 or 40. It's just crazy. We're in the thousands already, guys. So, all right. Remember, good bourbon equals good times and good friends like you guys, my good friends. And
Drink responsibly.
don't drink and drive.
And live your life uncut and unfiltered.
And little Steve-O will take us out.
Oh, show me the way to the next whiskey bar. Oh, don't ask why. Oh, don't ask why. Show me the way to the next whiskey bar. Oh, don't ask why. Oh, don't ask why. For if we don't find the next whiskey bar, I tell you we must die. I tell you we must die. I tell you, I tell you, I tell you we must die.
All right, we're out. So you can book if you got a book CT, you can go.
Gonna go. I'll see you tomorrow. Remember 3:00, Red Cow Starlight. 12:00, obviously with Alan.
Yes.
So I'm doing my best to be down there in time. So just bear with me. I'll do my best.
Okay, just keep me updated.
Yeah.
Y'all have a good time. I wish I could be there.
Yep. We'll make the best of it. And then Walker just commented that he may be a little late. He's thinking more close to 7, but that's fine. We'll hold down the fort, and I'm sure they have bourbon.
Yes, they do.
Absolutely, they do.
Al's got some stuff.
Yeah.
Al's got some stuff for us. That's for
Jeff,
sure.
are you bringing anything for him to use tomorrow?
Yes. The 2 bottles. So I'm bringing him a bottle of Taylor small batch for him just to have for himself, and the other bottle.
Why don't you bring him a Dalton barrel pick to do?
Well, of course I'm going to bring him he can pick between the Dalton and the Sinclair. That's a no.
I was thinking it's like bring him one of those to do for dinner.
For cooking?
Yeah.
Yes, and what was it I used for dinner? I brought him it was something that I was going to bring him for cooking the Highwayman from Bardstown.
The Highwayman.
The high, you know what I'm talking about? That highway.
Yeah.
I was thinking that, but I was going to give him have him pick between the Dalton and the Sinclair for a bottle to give him. So I'm bringing him a lot of gifts.
All right.
Because he's going to cook for up to 12 of us, and you know what he does when he does that. I mean, basically, I don't order ever. He's just going to be having something for us. And then you got Greg there. You've got Greg Schneider, Mark Carter's going to be there, Chrissy's going to be there, and we're just going to that's just going to be a good time, Walker. It's like, I mean, how many times Greg Schneider, what, you want him to cook with that?
No, is Walter going to show up so I can give him?
Walter, you can give it to me because Walter might be. He will.
If he doesn't show up to dinner, I'm not bringing it.
He's not. Well, you talked to him about showing up for dinner. He's in. I basically talked to him, and he's going to hit us up when we do the 2:00 on Saturday. Actually, what happens is after I go to French Lick, we're going to go to the tasting room at in Nulu and hang out there till then. We'll go meet Miss Christy and Mark over by there, and Walter's coming with us.
Okay, but we'll see you. So I gotta go. My phone is dying as we speak. So you guys have a good night.
All right, you too, brother.
Wonderful.
Nash, be good. See you guys later.
See you later.
All right, brother. All right.
Hey, you got to go too, brother?
Yeah. All right. Yeah. All right. Yeah, I got in late, but I gotta go take care of a few things. Got a big day tomorrow, and then Saturday and Sunday I'm gonna be putting in a fire system. But it's in 2 days I'll make over $3,600.
Yep.
So
Yep. Do it.
he's got to have it so his restaurant can open. So I
Yep.
couldn't get out of it. I did everything. I tried to talk to him. Let me do it the next weekend. It's like, no. I was like, if you can't, then I'm gonna get Anderson Fire and Safety to do it. They were gonna charge him $1,000 more or something like that, and it was like, no, I'll do it.
Yeah. I am short in pauses. Managed.
I'm telling you, there ain't nobody more heartbroken than I am. That I just, I don't want to.
Yeah, it's.
I hate to miss it. I mean, it's just going to be so much cool stuff going on, and a lot of great people going to be there. But
Rachel's feeling the same way. But what I'll tell you, Super Nash, is we'll just keep planning it. There'll be another one another time. It's just like. But I'm going to tell you that my goal is to walk away with some decent old Carter. I'm I'm going to be the old Carter guy this time.
Hey, talk to Randy and Walker for me, and see if you might can get me maybe bring me back a 2-ounce sample of that Woodford Reserve Bearcat.
So one of the things that's happening,
I probably won't ever get another chance to taste that.
Of course, I think Randy will do that. He poured samples of the German, Israeli. He's got 4 different nationalities and then I'll send those out to you. And then if he pours some of that for you, we can do that. I'm sure Randy's right there, right? Oh my God, he's bringing Mount Vernon rye.
Oh my gosh.
I'm going to be in heaven.
Hey, Randy, if you could get Jeff to bring up an empty 2-ounce bottle of and I'd love to have a pour of that Woodford Reserve Bearcat, because I know probably in my lifetime I'll never ever see another open bottle or get a chance to taste it.
Hold on a sec. Let me quick. I'm going to put that up. I don't know if Randy.
Oh my God. Walker already said already poured. You guys are awesome. Walker and Randy, I love you guys.
Here it goes.
I just.
Hold on, Nash. You're sitting there telling them, they can't tell you back. So let me just control.
Sure, they're sitting here talking to me.
They're about to. Come on, there it goes. I hit the. It's there, guys. I just hit the. There you go. Come on in, because I'm sure Walker. We'll. I only got about 10 minutes, Nash.
Yeah, at least I get to see him.
Yep. Sent the link, you guys.
Yeah, I keep saying Barrett, but it's Baccarat.
Baccarat. All right, I'm going to end it on YouTube real quick.
I don't know why I keep calling Bearcat, but it's Baccarat.
Baccarat.
Yeah.
All right. So thank you, everybody on YouTube. It seems to be a decent night.
I appreciate on YouTube for watching and tuning in to us and supporting us in all that you do. We couldn't do this without you. And like I say, just keep on watching and supporting and liking us and giving us good feedback each time you can. We are the Scotchy Bourbon Boys, and we do this for you.
There you go. Good night, everybody.
All right.